What is going on in the NFL right now is completely crazy. And if you're not paying attention, you could be missing out on the start of something really special. The world of football is buzzing. There are a lot of people on social media. People who are casual fans and serious analysts can't stop talking about what just happened. This is a moment that could change the course of professional football for the next 10 years. A performance that makes people compare a rookie to some of the best quarterbacks in history. This isn't just another story that makes you feel good, or a story that has been blown out of proportion. This is real. This is going on right now, and the effects are huge. Let me take you back to the beginning of this. You need to know the journey to really understand how big what we're seeing is. Shedeur Sanders is not just any quarterback prospect. He is the son of Deion "Primetime" Sanders, a Hall of Famer who changed the game with his fast playing style and unmatched confidence. But this is what makes this story so interesting. Shedeur has never tried to take advantage of his father's success. Instead, he's been working hard to make a name for himself to show that he deserves to be at the top level, not because of his last name, but because of his skill, work ethic, and undeniable talent. This young man has had to meet incredibly high expectations since day one. Being the son of one of the most famous athletes in American sports history is hard in ways that most of us can't even imagine. Since high school, every throw he's made has been looked at, picked apart, and compared to standards that are impossible to meet. He has been under a lot of pressure to do well, to live up to the Sanders name, and to show that he isn't just a product of nepotism or privilege. Even so, Shedeur has stayed calm, focused, and determined to let his game do the talking. His time at Colorado College, where his dad was his coach, was nothing short of amazing. Some critics tried to downplay his achievements by saying he only looked good because his dad was calling the plays. But anyone who actually watched the tape knew better. For someone his age, Shedeur had a pocket presence that seemed almost otherworldly. It was always impressive how well he could read defenses, make quick decisions under pressure, and throw accurate passes in tight spaces. He wasn't just another college quarterback racking up stats against weak teams. He showed traits that were good enough for the NFL. Week after week, game after game, season after season. It was especially interesting to watch the process before the draft. Some scouts thought Shedeur should be higher on the list of quarterback prospects than others. Some people thought he could be a franchise player in the future because he had all the skills he needed to do well at the next level. Some people wondered if he had the arm strength to make all the throws in an NFL offense, if he could handle the speed of the professional game, and if the pressure of playing in the shadow of his famous father would be too much for him to handle. The arguments were heated, the opinions were strong, and everyone seemed to have a different idea of how his career would turn out. Then came the day of the draft, which would change everything. When Shedeur's name was called and he was chosen to join an NFL team, people had different reactions. Some teams didn't pick him, maybe because they were worried about the media circus that would follow him wherever he played. Others saw a chance to get a possible franchise quarterback who had been unfairly criticized and undervalued because of what people thought. The team that finally picked him was making a point. People had faith in Shedeur Sanders. They thought he could run an NFL offense and were willing to put their future on the line for his success. There was a lot of excitement and speculation in the months leading up to his first NFL start. Fans and reporters were very interested in training camp reports because they wanted to know how Shedeur was doing in the professional game. Some reports were very positive, praising his ability to run the offense and his natural leadership skills. Some people were more cautious and said he needed more time to grow before playing in a game. There was a lot of talk about the issue on sports talk radio, TV shows, and social media. Everyone had something to say, and everyone was excited to see what would happen when the lights came on and the game started. And then it finally happened. The time we had all been waiting for had come. Shedeur Sanders was named the starting quarterback for his first NFL game, and the place where it happened was perfect for the drama and spectacle of the event. Las Vegas, the city of lights and high stakes, is known as the entertainment capital of the world. It would be the perfect place for the start of a legendary career. The Raiders' secondary, which is thought to be one of the league's weakest, would have to slow down a rookie quarterback who was making his first professional start. The stage was set, the stakes were high, and everyone in the football world was watching. What happened next was even better than what anyone could have hoped for. It was clear from the very first series that Shedeur Sanders wasn't scared of the moment. He didn't show any signs of being nervous, like a deer in the headlights, or that the pressure was getting to him. Instead, he looked like a pro who had been starting NFL games for years. He did a great job of reading before bed. He made good decisions and was very accurate. He wasn't just in charge of the game or playing it safe. He was attacking the Raiders' defense with confidence and accuracy that showed he wasn't a professional yet. The numbers from just the first half of his first start tell an amazing story. 7 completions on 11 attempts for 127 yards passing. Let's look at those numbers more closely, because just looking at the raw stats doesn't always tell you everything about how well a quarterback played. That completion percentage of about 64% is good for any quarterback, but especially for a rookie making his first NFL start on the road. But the yards per attempt really stand out. We're talking about more than 11 yards per attempt, which is very, very good. That level of efficiency shows that a quarterback isn't just throwing short, safe passes to pad his stats. This quarterback is throwing the ball downfield, going after every level of the defense, and making plays that move the chains and score points. Let's talk about the elephant in the room now, the interception. Yes, Shedeur threw an interception in his first NFL game. People who don't like him will probably use this as proof that he's not ready, that he's too aggressive, and that he's trying to do too much too soon. But here's what those people who don't like it are missing. It's very important to know what happened before that interception. This wasn't a careless throw or a mental mistake because he wasn't ready. This was a bold move to try to make a play downfield against a defense that was daring him to throw the ball into tight coverage. It was the kind of bold decision-making that sets game managers apart from playmakers, the kind of risk-taking you need to do well in today's NFL, where playing it safe as a quarterback can slow down the offense. The truth is that every great NFL quarterback has thrown interceptions, especially when they were just starting out. In his first year, Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions. In his first year as a starter, Brett Favre threw 24 picks. Even Patrick Mahomes, who many people think is the best quarterback in the game right now, has thrown bad interceptions when he was trying to make plays at important times. It's not whether they throw interceptions that makes the difference between quarterbacks who do well and those who don't. It's how they deal with those mistakes, how they learn from them, and whether they let one bad play lead to a string of bad choices. It wasn't just the stats or the touchdowns that impressed people the most about Shedeur's performance. It was the things that can't be measured with numbers. He had great pocket presence, staying calm under pressure like someone who has been doing it for years. He didn't freak out when the pocket fell apart and defenders were closing in on him. He kept his eyes on the field ahead of him, stepped into open space, and made accurate throws even as the rush closed in. You can't learn that kind of calmness in a classroom or on a scout team. It's something that elite quarterbacks have that other quarterbacks don't. He also showed off his arm strength throughout the game. There were throws that made scouts and analysts rewind the tape to see how fast and accurately he could throw. Deep balls that fell perfectly into the hands of receivers 40 or 50 yards downfield. Intermediate routes went through tight spaces between several defenders. Quick passes thrown with enough speed to get to the spot before aggressive quarterbacks. This quarterback didn't have any problems with his arm strength. This person could make every throw that a modern NFL offense needed. Shedeur's ability to use his eyes and body language to trick defenses was perhaps the most impressive thing about him. There were many times when he looked off safeties, pulling them away from the person he was trying to throw to before coming back to his main read for a completion. He used pump fakes to stop defenders and make it easier for him to throw the ball. He moved around in the pocket, sliding and climbing to give his receivers more time to get open. Many experienced quarterbacks have trouble with these advanced techniques, but a rookie was doing them in his first NFL game. Shedeur's performance had an effect that went beyond just his own stats. His teammates listened to him and played with a level of energy and excitement that had been missing from earlier games. It looked like the offensive line was blocking harder because they knew their young quarterback was doing everything he could. The receivers ran better routes and fought harder for catches that were up for grabs. The whole offense looked more together, confident, and dangerous than it had all season because their quarterback wasn't afraid to put the ball in tight spots. The reactions on the sidelines were priceless. During training camp, coaches had been careful and reserved in their praise. Now they were animated and excited, cheering on big plays and encouraging their rookie signal caller. After touchdown passes, Shedeur's teammates crowded around him, showing real respect and admiration for what he was doing in his first game. And of course, there was Primetime himself, watching from the press box with a mix of pride and emotion that only a father could understand. The cameras caught him celebrating big plays, and you could see how much they'd been through together in those moments. This performance has far-reaching effects that can't be overstated. For the team that picked Shedeur, this first game is proof that they made the right choice and gives them hope for the future. Having a franchise quarterback is the most important thing for long-term success in the NFL today. Teams can have great defenses, strong offensive lines, and players at every skilled position who can score. But without a quarterback who can make everyone else better, winning championships is still hard. If Shedeur Sanders can keep getting better and better after this great start, his team will have a solid base to build on for the next 10 years or more. Shedeur's rise to fame adds another interesting story to an already interesting league for the NFL as a whole. The story of a Hall of Famer's son following in his father's footsteps, but doing so at a different position and making his own name for himself, is the kind of story that goes beyond sports. It attracts casual fans who might not watch every game, but like stories about family, legacy, and the quest for greatness. It gives the media a lot to talk about and argue about, and it makes natural rivalries and matchups that the league can promote and sell. It's already started, and the comparison game is on. Fans and analysts are looking at other famous father-son pairs in NFL history to see where Shedeur and Dion might fit in if the rookie's career goes as well as his first game suggests it might. When you think of the Manning family, you probably think of Archie Manning's sons Peyton and Eli, who both won multiple Super Bowls and made their mark on NFL history. The Matthews family has been successful for many generations. But the Sanders family could be even more interesting because they played in different positions and in different eras. There were a few plays from Shedeur's first game that stood out as possible highlights that could define his career years from now. The deep ball to his receiver that was perfectly timed so that he could run under it without breaking stride and score a touchdown. The third and long conversion, when he climbed the pocket under pressure, kept his eyes downfield, and threw a dart to the sticks for a first down. The touchdown in the red zone, where he faked out a linebacker and then hit his tight end in the back of the end zone. These weren't just good plays. These throws were good enough for the NFL and showed that the quarterback was very skilled. It's also worth talking about the sack he took and how he dealt with it. When a rookie quarterback is under pressure and doesn't have a clear throwing lane, they often panic and either throw the ball up for grabs or try to get away and possibly fumble. Shedeur knew that neither of those things could happen, so he kept the football safe and took the sack, losing a few yards but keeping the ball for his team. That kind of thinking, being willing to take what the defense gives you, even when it's not perfect, shows that he is more mature than his years. The coaching staff's game plan should also get some credit. They knew that the best way to help their new quarterback was to give him a variety of plays that would keep the defense on its toes. They changed up the personnel groups, used motion to help figure out coverages, and called plays that let Shedeur get the ball out quickly when he needed to and take shots downfield when they were available. This wasn't a conservative way of holding hands to avoid making mistakes. The rookie quarterback ran an aggressive, modern NFL offense, and the results speak for themselves. The Raiders' defense seemed to be based on the idea that Shedeur would be hesitant, check down a lot, and not be able or willing to attack their secondary vertically. That was a huge mistake. Shedeur showed time and time again that he was ready to go up against their defensive backs in coverage. When they played off to respect his arm strength, he took advantage of the underneath routes and moved the chains slowly but surely. The Raiders were in a lose-lose situation because they couldn't stop the passing attack no matter how they changed their coverages. During and after the game, social media went crazy, with highlights being shared on every platform you can think of. There were a lot of tweets from current and former players, coaches, analysts, and fans all talking about what they just saw. There were a lot of clips of Shedeur's best throws on Instagram stories. People who make TikTok videos were making videos that explained how he worked and how he made decisions. YouTube channels that focus on NFL analysis were putting out emergency podcasts and videos to take advantage of the buzz. The number of people who interacted with the post was off the charts, showing how much people are interested in Shedeur's story and potential. Former quarterbacks who have been in Shedeur's shoes were especially nice in their reviews. They know better than anyone how hard it is to make your first NFL start, how fast the game can feel, and how easy it is to lose focus on your basics when you're in the moment. People who have been in similar situations were impressed by how relaxed and in charge Shedeur looked, even though it was a big deal. Their praise means a lot because it comes from a place of real understanding and respect for how hard it was for him to do what he did. Shedeur's successful debut has big effects on business as well. There will definitely be a spike in jersey sales as fans rush to buy things with his name and number on them. Companies will rush to sponsor him because they see the marketing potential of a charming young quarterback who plays in a big city and comes from a football family. Fans will want to see this exciting young talent grow, so the team will sell more tickets and get better TV ratings. In today's NFL, where business and on-field success are closely linked, having a quarterback who can actually play and is marketable is very important. Shedeur will feel a lot of pressure to do well in the next games after this one. One good game doesn't make a career, and there are many stories in the NFL of quarterbacks who had great first games but then struggled as defenses figured out their patterns and took advantage of their weaknesses. Shedeur and his coaches now have to build on this success, keep working on his game, and prove that this wasn't just a fluke or a case of beginner's luck. Every defensive coordinator they will face in the next few weeks is already looking at the tape from this game, and you can be sure that they are all looking for ways to take advantage of your weaknesses. But this is what makes you sure that Shedeur can keep playing at this level. Getting ready. Based on what we know about how he plays, he won't be happy with just one good game. He is obsessed with studying film and is always trying to get better at understanding defenses and predicting what they will show him. He works hard on his physical fitness and keeping his arms strong enough to make all the throws. He is humble enough to take coaching and criticism, but he is also confident enough to trust his skills when the game is on the line. These traits, along with his natural talent, make it seem like this first performance is just the start of what could be a great career. It's interesting to look at the history of rookie quarterbacks who have had great starts. There have been many times in NFL history when young quarterbacks have made great first starts, and the results of their careers have been very different. Some of them went on to win many championships and be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Others faded quickly because defenses figured them out and they couldn't change. Usually, the deciding factor is how they deal with problems, how they react to problems that will happen, and whether they keep improving their skills as the league changes. What makes Shedeur's situation different from that of many other highly touted rookie quarterbacks is the support system he has. You can't buy wisdom and perspective like you can with money if you have Deion Sanders as a father. Primetime has seen every high and low that professional sports can throw at him. He knows how hard it is to deal with the media, how complicated business can be, and how important it is to stay focused and professional even when everyone wants a piece of you. That advice will be very helpful for Shedeur as he deals with the problems that come with being an NFL quarterback. Shedeur's offensive weapons are also very important for his growth as a player. He clearly has the skills to make the players around him better, but having dependable receivers who can win their matchups and create space makes his job a lot easier. It's important that the offensive line gives him time to go through his progressions and make accurate throws. It's important for the running game to work well enough to keep defenses honest and stop them from putting 8 defenders in coverage. All of these things working together make a place where a young quarterback can do well. As the season goes on, it's clear that people are excited about what Shedeur might do. Can he keep playing like this for a whole 16 or 17 game season? Will he keep getting better as he gets used to the offense and builds better chemistry with his receivers? How will he deal with playing on the road in places where the crowd is against him and the pressure is even higher? In the next few weeks and months, all of these questions will be answered, and the football world will be paying close attention. Defensive coordinators are already making plans and coming up with ways to stop Shedeur in the games to come. They'll try to throw him off by using hidden coverages and strange blitz packages. They'll try to make him make mistakes by putting pressure on him from unexpected places. They'll see how strong his arm is by making him throw into tight spaces that are hard to hit. One of the most interesting things about the NFL is the chess match between the young quarterback and the veteran defensive minds. And whether or not Shedeur can solve these puzzles will decide how well he does. This first game is a sign of hope and possibility for the franchise and its fans after what may have been tough seasons. When you have a quarterback you trust, everything about how you build your team and plan for the future changes. Free agents are suddenly more likely to sign because they want to play with a young quarterback who has a lot of potential. Instead of desperately looking for a quarterback, teams can use their draft picks to fill other positions. Everyone in the organization can work together toward the same goal: to build a championship contender around their franchise quarterback. There will be more and more media attention on Shedeur from now on. People will look at every press conference to see how he thinks and how he gets ready. People will look closely at the meaning and subtext of every social media post. People will talk and guess about his relationships with his teammates, coaches, and family. This is what it's like to be an NFL quarterback in the age of social media, especially one who comes from a famous family and gets as much attention as Shedeur does. It will be very important for his growth to see how he deals with all this attention while still focusing on football.